Donna Adelson did not take her guilty verdict for the murder of Dan Markel well. She looked as if she couldn't believe this was happening to her. She cried a river. Like her son, Charlie Adelson, Donna seems to have been sure that the jurors would find her not guilty. It was almost as if she never even contemplated the possibility of a guilty verdict. And I think this is because Donna believed she was above the law. Welcome to Bed Crime Stories. I'm your host, T. How are you all doing? I hope you're having a great day. Do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment. Those are all free ways you can help. This channel is not monetized, so if you want to support the channel, please consider a Patreon membership. You can find information about that in the description. To Donna, I think the rules never applied. And unfortunately, I think she passed this belief onto 2 of her 3 children, Charlie and Wendy. From what I can see, Donna and perhaps Harvey too failed to instill a sense of right and wrong in their children. Donna, Charlie, and Wendy all seem to lack a moral compass. Lies slide off their tongues like honey. Breaking the law and taking a life were acceptable behaviors for Charlie and his mother, Donna. Most parents teach their kids that there are certain rules they need to follow to grow up and become admirable and good human beings. You don't lie, you don't break the law, and you certainly don't murder anybody. I've come to the conclusion that Donna played a role in molding Charlie into a person without a moral compass. Here's why. In one call between Charlie and his mother Donna in 2016, well before they were arrested, charged, and convicted for their roles in the 2014 murder of FSU law professor Dan Markel, Charlie tells his mother how he's gotten out of several recent traffic tickets. Some for speeding, one for driving in the HOV lane all by himself. He said he did this by lying to the patrol officers. Charlie explains that a friend of his told him about a ruse to avoid getting traffic tickets. All you do is tell the cop who pulled you over that you work in the ER at Broward General Hospital. Charlie likely was wearing scrubs when he was pulled over, which of course probably helped sell the story to the cops. Charlie tells his mother that no police officer will give a traffic ticket to an ER doctor from Broward General because if they end up in the ER, they don't want to look up and see the person
It was like at least a week ago. You know, I've gotten out of 2 speeding tickets also in the last 3 weeks also.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I do? I work at Broward General in the ER. There's an unwritten rule that they will never give a ticket to an ER doctor.
Really?
Never. Because if they get hurt, the first face they're going to go see is you. And every cop knows that. If they get hurt on the job, the first place they're going is Broward.
Really?
They're going to the they go to Broward General. They're going to the ER, Broward General. So do you want to look up and see the face of the guy you just gave a ticket to when you walk in there?
That's funny. I would never have thought that.
Yeah, Jerry told me that. He's like, man, I got out like 8 or 9 tickets. I go, how? He told me. So I got pulled over. Remember I told you I was in the HOV lane with no driver's license and a handgun underneath my seat? He ran the license. He ran the VIN number on the serial number on the handgun and told me just be safe and try to stay out of the HOV.
Sounds good.
No driver's license. That's how he asked me if I had a handgun because I didn't have my driver's license. I handed him my concealed weapons permit.
Yeah.
He said, do you have a gun in the car? I said, yeah, it's underneath my front seat. He goes, can you step out of the vehicle? So I did, but illegal tint, gun underneath the seat, and no driver's license. No ticket. Yeah. No, they love the ER docs, and I'm in my uniform.
It's amazing.
So, all right, let me go. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay. Thank you. I love you, honey. Bye.
Donna just listens. She never interjects to say, hey, Charlie, that's not a good idea. One of these days you're going to be found out and end up in trouble. As a periodontist, you should strive to have a good reputation, yada, yada, yada. Donna appears to think that this whole thing is funny. Her failure to call out Charlie for his lies would seem to indicate that she was a parent who never instilled core values in her kids. Like, you don't lie, you don't speed, and if you get caught breaking the law, you own up to it. When a parent fails to instill a sense of morality in their kids, they risk having their kids grow up thinking they're above the law. Those kids are the ones that likely will turn into criminals. My mom made my brother take a nail back that he nicked from our local hardware store. It was a mom and pop hardware store with wooden floors way back in the day. My brother, at like age 5, had to go in the store and apologize to the owner. I get the feeling that Donna Adelson in that same situation would have told Charlie, "Listen, Charlie, one nail is not going to get us very far. Go back there now and get us a whole box of nails." Anyone who watched Charlie's trial for his role in Dan Markel's murder knows the ease with which he lies. He testified on his own behalf and tried to convince the jurors that instead of conspiring to unalive Markel, he was actually the victim of an extortion scheme. He claimed he had nothing to do with the crime and was paying his ex-girlfriend, Katie McBanawa, and her baby daddy and his buddy, Luis Rivera, because they were extorting him. And we also saw how Donna Adelson jumped on this same false make-believe story, texting her friends and family that Charlie's extortion story was the truth. And thank God it's all finally coming out.
She always does. And she just looked panicked and upset. I mean, she walks straight in and gives me this big, tight hug and asked me, like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, just a horrible day." But she looked more upset than I've ever seen her. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "Just come sit down. I need to talk to you." And she said, "Listen, this is all my fault, but I had no idea anything was going to happen, but this is totally my fault. I spoke in too much detail about your family's personal problems, about your sister, Dan Markel, and the $1 million offer."
What did you say?
I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "My friend killed Dan, and he wants to be paid $1/3 of $1 million."
Wendy Adelson's old boyfriend back in 2013 and 2014, Jeff Lacasse, also shed light on Charlie's lack of morality. Jeff's the one who told the Tallahassee PD that Charlie looked into all options to take care of the Dan Markel problem. Lacasse also told the cops that one night when he and Wendy stayed at Charlie's house, he, Wendy, and Charlie all got into the hot tub, and Charlie told a story about how one of Charlie's girlfriends took him to a wedding where he was the only Caucasian guy, and all the men at the wedding took offense and beat him up. Per Jeff, Charlie bragged that he'd punished his girlfriend for putting him in that dangerous situation by forcing a particular physical act on her. Something from behind, if you know what I'm talking about. Lacasse was shocked that Charlie would share this story with his sister present. Charlie appeared to have no internal censor that would tell him that the act and his story about it in front of his sister were inappropriate. And Wendy seems to have adored Charlie and didn't find him an immoral, horrible excuse of a human being. She should have been disturbed by that story. Charlie was also known to go on vacations to South America in order to pay to bang, bang, bang young girls, if you know what I mean.
Strange guy's a conduct disorder kid, and he hates Danny. And see if I can put it a little vaguely, or not, but just enough to be useful here.
Let's not put it vague. Let's go with what you know specifically.
Wendy had reported to me that Charlie had considered all the options possible to take care of this problem. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And when she said it,
when did she disclose this to you?
I don't remember when, but she said it was chilling. Because she said, "Can I tell you something confidentially?" And I said, "Sure." She said, "I think Charlie kind of looked into some options, like literally saw how and why, how you would do this if you did it." I think this was last summer when she had her petition to relocate denied. That family wants her back there so bad.
This is when she disclosed this to you, was last summer?
No. This is when
Charlie
had been examining all the options.
Okay.
he's a very successful dentist, but he reeks of antisocial behavior. Now, I could be 100% wrong, but I wouldn't want to miss that if I was investigating it. He's got a close friend who's a ex-special forces guy, like a Navy SEAL or something he hangs out with all the time.
What did she say to you specifically? I mean, when you say
she said, Charlie, I can't remember exactly, but it had something to do with the amount of money it would cost to have someone killed.
And what did she say?
Something like Charlie looked into how much it would cost to have someone killed. Something like that. Some statement like that. I can't remember.
Did she give you a dollar amount?
But that's the other thing. He's a dentist, but he's an independent businessman. He has a bunch of practices, and he's a Ferrari, and he gets a millionaire, all this kind of stuff. So he has a lot of resources. And this might screw them. I got from me talking to him myself in the hot tub one time, a few things Wendy said.
When was this?
March 15th-ish. I was there for the one day with him. I was staying at his house.
Of this year?
Yes. Wendy and him were talking. I'm just listening. I just met him an hour earlier. We're sitting in the hot tub having a beer. It's a really nice house. And I guess this is what occurred.
Was anybody else in the hot tub with you guys?
Not during this part of the conversation. Another guy, his roommate, came in eventually, and they just started to talk about girls and stuff like that. But, and I'm not trying to play cop here, but I do know one thing you'd be looking for is a lump sum of money moving around, and some kind of crazy stuff happened. And I think there's a lot of financial irregularities. I think there's a lot of, tax fraud kind of stuff, and putting stuff in different people's names and moving money around, and there might be cash. I don't know exactly what, but he's not doing anything on the up and up in his finances. It was pretty clear. He was pretty open about that. So I thought about, if you guys do look into it, I don't know that.
How the exact conversation in the hot tub go?
He was just talking about, I put that in Dad's name, I put that in Mom's name, and it was just clear that...
Hiding resources.
Yeah.
Monetary resources.
Yeah. So if you have to do an investigation, that's something you guys should know, because I think there's a lot of... I don't know if it's illegal, but I know there's a lot of... he plays the system, This guy's so inappropriate. We're sitting... Please don't write this down. He's so inappropriate. We're sitting in the hot tub, and he starts talking about sex acts with his girlfriend that he did to punish her for bad behavior in front of his sister. I'm like, and I didn't know what to do. I just met him, pretended with my girlfriend. This is just so weird, And it's like this guy's... His social radar is way off. His sense of right or wrong, just norms is just off. He set off my radar. Now, I don't know if he did this. But if you're looking at somebody, don't miss him. And I could also see him doing this without ever telling Wendy he didn't do it. I could see Wendy being innocent, puzzled, and Charlie did. I could totally see that scenario. He's very protective of her. I think that's more likely than romantic. All the romantic couplings are with highly educated, high elite status men.
We know Charlie is the guy who asked Katie McBanawa if she knew anybody who could hurt someone. This seems to indicate that Charlie had no qualms about arranging Dan Markel's murder. It begs the question, how did Charlie become such a deviant, antisocial person? And Wendy, too, seems to be a rule breaker despite being a lawyer. Lawyers, like medical doctors, take an oath that requires them to, among other things, conduct themselves with dignity, courtesy, and honesty. Jeff Lacasse has said that Wendy cheated on him while they were dating. And Wendy's ex-husband, Dan Markel, had before his death already submitted legal briefs alleging that she'd failed to disclose financial information during their divorce. In May of 2014, Markel filed a briefing accusing Wendy of hiding more than $200,000 in marital assets, including a Charles Schwab account and other retirement funds. During their 2013 divorce settlement, Markel accused Wendy of filing a false financial affidavit, which could have led to serious legal consequences for both her and her attorney. The filing asked for Wendy to be held in contempt of court, and to be sanctioned for concealing assets during the divorce proceedings. If Dan's accusations were true, it shows that Wendy Adelson, like her brother Charlie, had no regard for the law. Prosecutors and various legal experts on YouTube have highlighted several inconsistencies in Wendy's statements made under oath and during her police interview. For example, in August of 2025, during the trial of her mother, Donna, a prosecutor revealed that on the morning of the crime, Wendy listened to a voicemail that Dan Markel had sent her, contradicting her previous statements that she hadn't listened to it. Wendy also stated that she took a shortcut down Trescott Drive, where Dan's house was, on the morning of the crime to get to a liquor store. Wendy claimed that she turned around right away when she saw yellow crime scene tape, thinking maybe a tree had fallen. Wendy didn't bother to call Dan to see if he was okay, nor did she call her son's preschool to make sure they were safe. What would you do if you saw crime scene tape near the house where your children had slept the night before? How could Wendy just turn around and go about her day? It certainly sounds like she had to have known what happened to Dan and that her kids were miles away and safe at school. Wendy also initially denied having a celebration dinner with her brother Charlie weeks after the murder, a meal she reportedly became so sick from that she vomited on the table. The dinner was later revealed to be true through other testimony. And Wendy's behavior after Dan's death also points to a person who has very little regard for other people. She's been nothing short of cruel to Dan's parents and sister. And if she was aware of the crime that was going to take Dan's life and didn't stop it, then she's just as much of a thug as Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera. That would show extreme callousness also towards her sons. This meant they had to grow up without their father. Which reminds me of when Donna spoke to Charlie on a wiretapped call about how much the boys wanted and deserved to have a father. Charlie tells Donna the boys had a dad, but of course a tragedy happened. It was like Charlie knew somebody was listening in on the call. But isn't it galling for Donna to say that the boys need a dad after she helped get rid of their dad? Donna was trying to get Charlie to speak to Wendy about not breaking up with a guy named Dave Adel. Adel is a highly successful businessman who Donna said was crazy about Wendy and her sons. Donna sounded desperate for Dave to become Ben and Lincoln's new dad. She was like, those boys deserve a dad. And it sounds like Charlie at this point was getting a little sick of seeing Wendy living her best life, having her parents watch her kids while she goes out to dinner, out to yoga. Donna seems to have convinced Charlie that he was the only one who could talk sense into Wendy. And so he takes on that responsibility.
Sometimes you get the gold ring, and you two, I don't know what, she's got her head stuck up in her ass or something.
Because she has everyone telling her that she's such a great catch, and she is. But they're not. But guess what?
They're not living her life.
They're not living her life, and they're not breaking it down and saying who's, and listen, the guy who may treat her really well just may never really bond with the kid. Like, there's so many aspects to it. So you can be a great guy, just doesn't really want to do anything with your kids. What are you going to do? Kick him out too?
This guy not only is crazy about her, but he's crazy about those boys. And you see how he treats them, and that's why. Because the truth is, she can meet a great guy. Those aren't his boys, and he just doesn't like them. What is she going to do? Get rid of them? He may treat her well, but he's like okay with the kids. He'll tolerate the kids. He'll put up with them.
I put up with them, whatever. And then what if they're real nice to the boys on day one, but 3 years down the road, he's pretty much had enough of them. They're ain't his. They're going through a tough time. I mean, I'm just saying.
I think she needs to know that she's been given an opportunity that she most likely will never happen again.
No, listen,
it away. She's not only throwing it away for herself, she's throwing it away for these kids that deserve a dad.
But you don't understand. You could never say that to her. Well, you can. It would just end poorly.
Yeah, I know.
You can say anything you want. It's America. I could just tell you the end of the cover. You could tell me the beginning, and I can tell you how the end.
If you weren't here, that's what I would do. I would try.
You'd fuck it up good.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd fuck it up good and go, I tried. You would get 30 seconds into your planned speech before she told you to butt out of her life. And rightfully so, it's her life. She can tell you whatever she wants. But the difference is that I can talk to her differently than you can.
I know, Charlie. So, believe me, and I'm grateful that you do. I really am. You know that. You know that.
Trust me, I know. I mean, listen, she's doing great with that, considering everything she's been through. I would just like.
You know what?
Her.
She's your sister. She loves you. She's a good sister, and you're an amazing brother. And I'm just grateful that the two of you have each other. I really am.
Well, I am too. But I can tell you
I really am, and I appreciate what you do because
I go.
Who else is going to do it? Who else is going to say, "Hey, wake up"? You know, this is not only the perfect guy for you, but a dad for these boys. My God.
Listen. Most people don't ever get an opportunity like this to begin with. Like I'm just saying, like to begin with.
I'm shocked that she does.
Because the truth, and that's what I could listen, Mom.
I feel like knocking her in the head. I mean it, and going like, "Wake up, wake up."
Trust me, Mom. Let me say this much to you. As much as you feel like knocking her over the head, I feel like punching her and then knocking her over the head.
Yeah.
So trust me on this.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm telling you is that I'll talk to her and I will do my best, my best is very good.
I know.
And I can listen. And you got to understand the way I'll tell her too is like, Wendy, she loves Jess. I think Jess is awesome. Jess will be a great friend to me. And I talk to Jess all the time. Wendy, I wouldn't date Jess in a million years because she's 37 and she has no kids.
She has no kids and desperately wants children.
Absolutely. I said, but she has no. It's like you winning the lotto and saying, I'll never win the lotto again. That's not true. You'll have a 1 in 14 million chance. That's like, I'm not going to take that from you. You can get out there and buy another ticket and win the lotto again. It's highly unlikely. So as it's highly unlikely, you know, your problem, Wendy, is that you're highly educated and very smart, and you can't date beneath you. I go, if you want to lower your standards, you will have no problem. But you can't date beneath you. You got to date successful. You don't want to date too old. You don't want to date a guy who's divorced with a crazy ex-wife who's going to make your life living hell. You have on top of it, which you can't even believe, he has a wife who doesn't want to be a mother to his kids, so she's not sticking her nose in his business.
And she's not sticking her hand out either, but I need money.
No, she already got paid $3 million.
I know.
So she's already been paid off.
Just out of the way.
Yeah, and she's not like in your nose, in your face, like. So you top it all off with that, that's like a 1 in a million. Because usually the ex-wife is bitter and angry that the husband's moving on. She's moved on. She's got her life. She's somewhat of a mom, not really. I go, you know, Wendy, it's like, you know, I'll paint the whole picture for her and then ask her who does she expect to meet?
Yeah.
Because the problem is, Wendy, if a guy is real successful and he's been through a divorce, I'd say 98 out of those 100 guys, if they're young, successful, and they've already been through the divorce, and they just lost 70% of their money or 60%, they are so gun-shy, the last thing on the planet they need to do is go through it again. They want to date, they want to enjoy life, they want to make money, they already have their kids.
She owes it to those kids.
Yeah. But
she has an opportunity that she would throw in the garbage, and then these kids, and believe me, that's it. They're not going to have another dad.
No. Well,
and
it was a listen. They had a dad. It was a tragedy. What happened?
Yeah. Well,
what I'm
here's an opportunity for them to grow up with a dad who would pay attention, who's smart, who would be great.
Yeah.
Here, you know, Ben said to me today.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid is not even 7, and he said to me, "You know what I want to do, Grandma? I want to make apps." I said, "You want to make apps?" He says, "I want to make up my own app. Like I have all these ideas for an app." I said, "Well, how do you think you do that?" He said, "Well, I'm going to ask Dave because he's great on computers. He knows a lot of computer stuff, so I think he can help me make an app." I mean, he's a smart little kid, and and he loves him.
Yeah, Mom.
Oh, it breaks my heart because I really see how much these kids adore him, and how attentive and kind he is to the kids. But doesn't she see it? Doesn't
Mom,
she realize that?
Mom, I will listen today.
I know, Joe.
I will talk to him. Not him. I will talk to her.
Yeah.
And I will, trust me, I will go down there on Sunday. I'm like one day off this week. I mean, you have to understand, I work so late all the time.
Oh, sweetie, I know.
You know, it's really not like I don't have, like, you know, it's my one day off, and I'm going to go down there to, like, you know, let me see if I can even get time with her. If I go down there, it's going to be like,
well,
she has friends stopping over, and we can sit and
call her tomorrow and just work out just say, I'll come down, and that.
Donna seems to have had high standards for her kids academically and when it came to the people that they married. However, she seems to have completely left out the importance of having a moral compass, knowing right from wrong, obeying the law. For this reason, I believe Donna poisoned Charlie and Wendy. Both of them could have had great lives. They're both intelligent. They both had jobs that paid well. But instead of accepting the judge's ruling that Wendy could not move to Miami until the boys were 18, Donna had to have her way at any cost. By allowing Charlie to set up the hit on Dan Markel, Donna was playing Russian roulette with Charlie's future life. And in the end, Charlie lost the game. So now he sits in a prison cell, dreaming of the life he once had. And Wendy is probably looking over her shoulder, paranoid, waiting for the police to arrest her. I don't think Wendy Adelson would have concocted a plan like this, allegedly. Again, she hasn't been charged. If her mother hadn't sown the seeds in her head, allegedly. 2 people's lives completely destroyed, a father dead, 2 little kids without their father, all because Donna wanted to be the alpha